What shape do you see on the board right now? A square. All right, and you can shut your computers. You do not need them right now. Please shut them. Let's say I have a square, and this is 5. So if this side is 5, what are all the sides? 5. And what are all my angles in a square? 90 degrees. Do y'all agree all of these are 90 degrees? Because that's literally the definition of a square. All the angles and all the sides are the same. Now, if I wanted to, or if you are going to have questions that ask you the length of the diagonal of the square. So if I wanted to find the length of this diagonal of this square, what would I do?
Divide by 2.
Can't just divide it by 2. But what is technically this side called? The C. And then don't you agree I have A and B? And do you agree I could do Pythagorean theorem to figure this out? What is Pythagorean theorem? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Do y'all agree with that? And do you agree then, I don't know what C is, but I know A is 5 and B is 5. What is 5 squared? 25. 5 times 5. And 5 squared is 25. What is 25 plus 25? 50. And how do I get C by itself? Y'all look up, please. You should be looking up at my board right now. And then, Angela, no. And then, last week we learned how to do simplifying radicals. I can simplify this. How do I simplify the square root of 50? Do your tree. How do you get 50?
5 times 10.
So either one, 25 times 2 or 5 times 10. You can do either way. What is 25? 5. And what was the rule that we learned?
Circle together.
Pairs go on the outside, and the lonely one goes. So my answer is 5 square root of 2. Y'all okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. But then, I have another square. And this one, instead of being 5, it's 10. So what are all the sides? 10. And so if I wanted to do the diagonal of this square, what am I going to do this time?
Square equals 10 square plus.
And what is 10 squared?
20.
No. 10 times 10.
Oh, 100.
100. And so then I would get 100 plus 100, which equals 200. You're looking up, please. No talking. And then I'm going to square root both sides and do my tree. How do I get 200? I'm going to do 100 times 2. You're not wrong, but I'm going to do 100 times 2. Then what? 10 times 10. You could do 50 times 2. I'm going to do 10 times 10. Same thing. And I get 5 and 2. 5 and 2. Do y'all agree? And again, pairs go on the outside, but I have 2 pairs here. 5 times 2. And who's all by themselves?
2.
So what is 5 times 2? So what do I get as my answer here? 10 square root of 2. Everybody look up. What if I did the same thing with 15? Could anybody give me an answer without me doing all of that work? Anybody want to guess what the diagonal is if I have 15 and 15? So let's look. What did we get for our answer for 5? 5 and 5. What was this? 5 square root of 2. Right here we had 10 and 10. What was my answer? So if we have 15 and 15, what's my answer going to be? My answer is 15 square root of 2. If you have a square, this will work every single time. So you don't have to sit here and do Pythagorean theorem and do your tree. You can just learn the trick. So I would like everybody to get their notes that they grabbed today. They say 45, 45, 90 on them. This trick that I'm teaching you will only work with 45, 45, 90 triangles. Oh, I didn't even talk about that. Real quick. Everybody look up. If you cut a diagonal right here, I cut this 90 in half. What does this angle become? That's why we call this 45, 45, 90. Because that's going to be what these are. So, can everybody grab these notes right here and fold them like I just did? Ooh, I folded these bad, but that's okay. Fold your notes, please, so that you can see 45, 45, 90 triangles right there. I'm only going to talk for 10 more minutes, so y'all bear with me. Now, if you have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, we're going to put the 45 here and the 45 here. What's going to happen to these two sides right here? They're going to be, no, these two sides. Right, but aren't they going to be they're going to be the same, so I can have a tick mark here and a tick mark here. Because it's part of a square, right? So this is a right isosceles triangle. Write that down up top. A right isosceles triangle. And this comes from the diagonal of a square. Isn't that what we were dealing with earlier, squares? So if I told you this side was 5, what's the bottom? 5. They are always going to be the same. Yuri, write this down. 5 and 5. What will my diagonal be? What did we just say? It is your C, but what's it going to be? I know, but what's the number going to be? What's my answer going to be here? 5 square root of 2. What just happened? Whatever number you have, your diagonal will be that number, square root of 2, every time. Yep.
Where did we get the 2 from?
When I did it all out,
What the?
it was my lonely number.
When did you do that? You just did.
So, it is always going to be square root of 2. Right here it was square root of 2. If I had 100 and 100, what would the diagonal be? 100 square root of 2. If I had 30 and 30, 30 square root of 2. Always. Alright, open up your notes. Am I really going to give you a test question like number 1?
Yes.
Yeah. You have 8 and 8. Put tick marks. They're the same.
8 squared.
So what is my diagonal going to be? 8 square root of 2. Is it always going to be square root of 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Every single freaking time.
But only if you have a 45 and a 45. If there is no 45s, or these two are not the same, then you have to do Pythagorean theorem.
How would you know it's a 45?
Like right here, because they're the same. Or it literally will tell you 45 and 45. Yep. Or it's a square. It comes from a square. So like these are the different ways it could tell you. Yep. All right, everybody look at number 3. Go down. What if I give you the diagonal? What if I tell you the diagonal is 14 square roots of 2? What is this side going to be? No. It's just going to be 14 and 14. So this is working backwards, girls. If I give you the diagonal to work backwards, it's just the number in front of the square root of 2.
Okay.
This is easy. What the heck?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So 8 and 8, you have these two sides, 8 square roots of 2. If you have the diagonal go backwards, it's just that number. Okay? Now, number 2 is a little bit special. Look up, please. If this is 2 square roots of 3, what's the bottom? They're always the same. Write it down. But how would I find the diagonal for this one? You don't do the outside, only do the inside. 2 square root of 3, what did we add onto it? Square root of 2. Now that looks really funky, right? But I can multiply those. What is square root of 3 times square root of 2? Square root of 6. Don't multiply the outside number though, only the ones under the radical. You just multiply them. Alright, last but not least, if you can look up. If your diagonal is a pretty number, a whole number, no radicals, how would I go backwards? Not half, you're close. Divide by the square root of 2. And that is your answer. That looks really weird, but that is your answer. If your diagonal is pretty, a pretty number, you divide by the square root of 2, and you leave it like that. And if this is 19 divided by square root of 2, what's this? The same thing. All of these are going to be the same. No, you leave it like that. And on your test, that'll be multiple choice. Yeah, you don't have to come up with that on your own. Oh, my voice is going. I sound normal?
Yes.
Do I?
Yes. Or it just hurts to talk.
I don't sound stuffy at all?
Yes, you do.
Maybe then my ears are clogged. Okay. If you can please glue, if you did not, glue Friday's paper on 42. Today's paper is on page 43. Friday's was the one, yep, that one. Yep. 42. Today's paper on 43.
It's right there. It's right there.
Oh, put it in. Yeah, just put it right there. Over there, it's sitting on that desk way over there, yeah. Alright, you have 1 minute to glue this in, then we're going to do the worksheet.
You're not gluing that in. You're gluing this one in first, though. Well, then go get it.
Hey, remember y'all were supposed to be, I wasn't supposed to know you're there.
We do not use this kind of language in class.
I want to learn Russian so I can test pizza.
Alright. Did everybody grab the practice paper? It's a half sheet. I'm going to do half of it with you in 5 minutes. What?
What is a minute?
60 seconds.
What's 60 seconds?
Alright, number 1. I'm doing half of this with you, so pay attention. Number 1, girls, shh, if this side is 3, what's the bottom? 3. Boom. Box it. That's your answer. Is it really that easy?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
damn.
What would the diagonal be?
It'll be square, 3 square 2. Let me talk.
Y'all were off in that video.
And that's it.
Hey.
Is it really that easy?
Yes.
Yes, you know I'm gonna get all this.
No. Number 3. Now we're going to go backwards. If I know the diagonal is 7 square roots of 2, how do I find?
It's gonna be 7.
And by the way, do you see how it has the little arches? Those arches tell me these will be the same, so it's a 45, 40. And if that's 7, what's this? 7. 45, 45, 90 triangle, so we can do that. All right? I'm going to skip 4 and 5. I'm going to do 6. If this is the square root of 3, again, it has the arches. So since those angles are the same, I know these are going to be the same. So what's the bottom?
3 squared.
Square root of 3. Good. What is the diagonal?
2 square root of 3.
No.
3 square root of 2.
6?
The square root of 3 times the square root of 2 is not 6.
Oh my gosh, we were close. Square root of 6.
Square root of 6.
Oh my gosh.
You were close.
Oh, square root of it.
Wait, so Miss,
I already lost track.
because I thought you had to put the.
So look, just like right here, remember how right here we multiplied only the one that's inside? Same thing. We just multiply what was inside.
3 times 2.
Yep.
And then you put the
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We have not done anything like number 7. So I want y'all to look up, please. Number 7 is 8 square roots of 6. For number 7, how do I go backwards?
2.
I'm going to divide by square root of 2, which is going to give me what? 8 square root of 3. You don't mess with the 8. You just do the inside. 8 square root of 3. If you don't understand that one, it's okay. That's why I'm doing it with you.
Wait, so you've divided 6 and 2?
Yep. Yeah. So if I'm going backwards, I have the diagonal I want to go backwards. I divided by square root of 2. And so then 6 divided by 2 is 3. The 8 stays. And if that's 8 square roots of 3, what's this?
8 squared is 3.
I now think, let me box these 7s. I think you can do the rest of the front on your own. Can you please turn to the back?
Why is it
Always,
always?
because we don't like to waste paper.
Is that actually the reason?
Yeah. So like I could make everything on one big large front sheet, but I would rather do it front and back on a half sheet so I don't waste the back.
They're willing to not waste paper because they're willing to waste our lives here in prison for 7 hours a day.
Yes, it's not a waste, but yes.
Wow.
All right, number 12. I'm going to help you with number 12.
I know, right?
It says AB is 15, so I'm going to put a 15 on AB.
I cannot see.
Sorry. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 12. How do I go backwards and find AC and BC?
Divide.
Divide by what?
2.
Not 2. Square root of 2. And is it okay for it to look like that? Yep, that's my answer. It is only going to look like this if you have a pretty number on the diagonal. And that's it. What other problem here has a pretty number on my diagonal?
14.
So what is that one going to look like?
I'm 14 square root of
No, 18.
2. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right. You have the rest of the class period, which is about 11 minutes, to finish these 8 problems and turn them in. You can work together or by yourself. Go.